I think in week one, we learned that the Packers are going to be a good football team, right? They have a very good chance to compete in the NFC North. The Falcons, I think we learned that Desmond Ridder might not be the quarterback of the future. He's not there yet, but they do have a good running game with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, two guys that can make a lot of plays. So I'm going to go the over of 40.5 here. I think this is way too low. Packers scored 38 points last week against a bad Bears team that really just gave no effort at all. We're going to talk about the Buccaneers game in a little bit against the Bears, and I'm just going to trash Chicago because they didn't put any effort in the entire game. So those 38 points were impressive, but it really wasn't against anyone of noteworthy there. Then you got Desmond Ridder for the Falcons. Didn't look like a franchise quarterback, but there were still some offensive positives last week for them. Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson really ran hard, 130 yards on the ground. They only allowed 10 points, but there were multiple opportunities where Carolina could have scored. They just came up short. They were stopped on the 20-yard line earlier in the game. I do think the Packers are good enough to take advantage of the opportunities that they're given, and they're going to be given chances in this game because the Atlanta Falcons are definitely not world beaters on the defensive side of the ball. I do like the Packers offense to have a good game this week. Not as good as last week, but Jordan Love really impressed me. Settled in, was very commanding with the offense. He made all the right reads, all the right decisions here. And that's needed when you got a low total like this because bookmakers are expecting a lot of mistakes on both sides. But I do trust Jordan Love here. I think we're seeing a lower total just because we haven't seen a lot of this Packers team, this new Packers team. We really haven't seen a lot of Desmond Ridder combined with this crop of new running backs in Atlanta. So I'm going to take the over here. I think both teams make plays. I think this game gets over pretty comfortably, honestly. And I think we're just seeing that low spot because it's two new look teams. Well, it has nothing to do with hype, I don't think. I think it's just a fact of effort. Like, if you don't give effort in the NFL, you're going to get exposed. And these guys weren't running the football. They weren't protecting. They weren't blocking. They weren't trying. It's like they gave up. I think the Bears really thought it was their year. They weren't going to be owned by the Packers anymore. And Green Bay just took it to them. And when they did that, when they got punched in the mouth, they folded. And that's not the team that I want to bet on in any way whatsoever. And the team they're playing against here, and I know the spread is dropping in favor of the Bears here, but when you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is a gritty football team. I'm a big Baker Mayfield guy. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the world. I think we saw that last week, but he makes up for that lack of ability with grit. And when I got a team that's really gritty like Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I got a team that gave up last week when they got punched in the mouth like Chicago Bears, I'm going to be all over that gritty team, and that is Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. When you look at the Bears, they were horrendous in the front seven. They did not care at all. Their offensive line did not give Justin Fields a chance to win. And he's going to make plays, so that's another reason to stay away from the points here. I'd rather just take the Buccaneers on the money line because Chicago can strike at any time. He's good enough where 10 guys on the field aren't giving effort. Justin Fields can go out and make the plays. But extremely lazy football team, and I just can't bet on them in this spot. Buccaneers played really well up front. They found a way to grind out the game down the stretch there. Mike Evans was good. Chris Godwin was good. And all those guys meshed too. So that's another reason to be high on Tampa Bay here. I do think the Buccaneers defense in the front seven played exactly as expected. They need to be better against the pass this week. That's going to be critical. But the Bears really don't have many guys that can beat them down the field here. I think if they could just contain Justin Fields and limit his legs, make him uncomfortable, get pressure on him, as we saw the Green Bay Packers do last week, this is Tampa Bay's game to win. I would take the Chargers on the money line here. I think to compete with Los Angeles, you need an offense. Ryan Tannehill didn't look anything like a quarterback last week. He completed less than 50% of his passes for 198 yards and 3 interceptions. So he's really good at throwing the ball to the other team. The Titans defense played well. They allowed just 69 yards on the ground. They did give up a ton of big plays through the air. Now, the Chargers are masters of big plays. Austin Eckler had a huge day run the football last week, but I think he's going to be really, really good catching the ball in the backfield because that's something the Titans do struggle to defend. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed both had 40-plus yard receptions last week against the Titans. Michael Thomas and Juwan Johnson went both for 25-plus long receptions. So there's a lot of problems here that the Chargers present for the Tennessee Titans. Now, if Titans bring the same offensive passing attack, they don't stand a chance in this game. And if they don't limit their big plays on defense, they really don't stand a chance because the Chargers can create big plays, and they're also going to put the pressure on them consistently by scoring points here. So I like the Chargers on the money line. Again, I don't want to lay the 3 points. If it goes to 2.5, I'm more willing to take it with the Chargers. But since it's on that critical number, I'm just going to take the money line for a fair price. But get it now because it's going to continue to go up as we approach kickoff on Sunday. Oh, I agree. I don't know why the spread is dropping so much in favor of the Arizona Cardinals here. First off, I mean, the Cowboys should be put in jail for what they did to the New York Giants last week. They were They assaulted them in every way whatsoever. It was so bad. But for the New York Giants, that's got to be a performance where you watch the film, then you burn the film, and you come out and you better play with a little more grit this week. And I think they're going to do that. Even my buddy, we were talking the other day, and he's saying, yeah, I don't want to bet the Giants. It's a big upset spot for them. We can't react to what they did against Micah Parsons in this Cowboys front seven and take it into this Cardinals game. It's a totally different offense, totally different defense. The Cardinals are different than the Cowboys. They're not the same team. And when you look at the Giants defense, they really weren't that bad. Yes, they got ripped up on the ground, but they contained Dak Prescott throughout this game. Not that the Cowboys had to take a lot of chances down the field. It was really the special teams for the New York Giants, the offense, that lost this game to the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a much better matchup against the Arizona Cardinals here. Look for Brian Dable to come out and try to run the football early and often in this game. The best way to help a struggling offensive line is to put them on the attack. So that's also going to help Daniel Jones work in the play action game, use his legs a little bit. There's going to be a totally different offensive strategy for the New York Giants. Look for them to grind out this game and find a way to win. The Cardinals front seven are not going to be able to compete with the Giants in this one, and I absolutely love the 4 points here.